of the Jacksonville Jaguars 2014 NFL Draft is sponsored by the law firm of Farah and Farah.
At noon, the Jags' new quarterback will make his first appearance in town, as we told you about 15 minutes ago. UCF star Blake Bortles will talk with us at Everbank Field.
The Jags still have 10 more picks left, and a lot of analysts expected the Jags to take a QB, but not until later in the draft. And we also talked to Jaguars head coach Gus Bradley last night about their main priority for Bortles.
My number one mission right now is to provide this environment where he has a chance to improve. And I think if we can, and we stay strict to it, he'll get a chance to improve at a faster pace. And that's what we're really looking for.
Sam had a chance to talk with Bortles last night, and he joins us now live on the phone. Hey, good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
I know the majority of fans are very happy with the pick, but there are some who have a mixed reaction and go, is this Blaine Gabbert all over again? Your take.
Well, I think that's a legitimate concern. Once again, the Jaguars kind of stepped out of the box from what so many people were reporting and the hype around, of course, Johnny Manziel. But this is the guy the Jaguars liked all along. He is a perfect fit for the organization, too. He's a Gus Bradley kind of guy. He is just a prototypical-looking quarterback, 6'5", 232 pounds, runs under a 5-second 40, did all the things at the combine, competed, and we've heard Gus Bradley talk about that, of the things, whether it was the long jump or the vertical, and he threw at the combine, did all those things. Was a Jaguar fan as a kid, came up here with his father to games, watched games in Orlando on our sister station, Channel 6 there. So, I mean, he is almost the perfect guy. Like you said, though, there was some question as to whether or not he was worthy of that pick at number 3. Well, throughout the night, the Jaguars continued to reveal different things about their thoughts about Bortles, to the point where they said that they thought he was the single best player in the draft. I can tell you, and not to throw a big wet blanket on it, though, when they drafted Blaine Gabbert was picked 10th overall. Jack Del Rio told me they thought he was the best player in the draft. Certainly we want to have a little more confidence in this particular administration, but you hope that this one works out better than that one at the time.
You know, Sam, as you heard, of course, David Caldwell talking last night. I mean, one of the reasons, of course, that they were concerned about Johnny Manziel from the beginning here is, you know, he said I just didn't feel like there'd be a whole lot of movement, a whole lot of growth with him if we had selected him, particularly in the first year. And, you know, Bortles himself had said, hey, I've never opened an NFL playbook. I mean, I've got a lot to learn here. Do you think that that's one of the reasons that they know that he's coming in really willing to learn and get better and lead this team?
It's one of the adages of the Jaguars organization is you have to, from a coach, from a player standpoint, you have to work with humility. That's their first thing. You have to identify your weaknesses, and Bortles certainly has done that. When you talk to him, he can tell you the things, as you said. I've never opened an NFL playbook. There are a lot of things I have to do. There was a specific instance where he told Gus Bradley in their first meeting about how he was having difficulty making throws to the left, and it had to do with footwork, and that he worked on that very consistently week in and week out, and it paid off apparently in the Fiesta Bowl. Those are the kinds of things that Gus Bradley wanted to hear. I mean, when Bradley came back from the pro day from Bortles, and I talked to him, you could tell he was in love with this guy. He just thought he was the greatest. The misconception is that Bortles wasn't worthy of a top 5 pick. I thought, and a lot of people thought as well, that the Jaguars would try to move back and take Bortles later, maybe in the top 10, because Caldwell thought that he was certainly a top 10 player, and maybe even move back further. The problem is that, and you don't hear a lot of squawking around the league, or a lot of the so-called experts didn't say anything about this pick, because they all knew that based on the inside information, Bortles was the guy that everybody had rated as the number 1 quarterback, and it was evident by the fact that Johnny Manziel didn't get picked until the second half of the first round, when the Cleveland Browns finally scooped him up.
He went at 22nd. Sam, thanks very much for your perspective. We'll learn more about Blake, and Sam's going to be in on that news conference, so he'll have the latest for you on News4Jax and, of course, in the 5 o'clock hour.